In the heart of New York City, where tall buildings kiss the sky, a chilling mystery unfolded. The Ghost Finders, a group of brave paranormal investigators, were preparing for their most daunting case yet, the exorcism of April Warson. April was a young woman who had recently experienced strange occurrences in her life. Shadows dancing in the corner of her eye, whispers in the darkness, and a feeling of constant dread that clung to her like an old coat. All of these hinted at the presence of something dark within her. The leader of the Ghost Finders was Jack, a tall man with deep-set eyes and an unshakable determination. He had dealt with ghosts and spirits for years, but demons were a different story. With him was Mia, his smart and resourceful partner, known for her insight and ability to connect with the unseen world. They also had Greg, a tech-savvy guy who handled all the equipment, capturing any evidence of the supernatural lurking in the shadows. The trio met at their small office, cluttered with equipment and old cases sprawled across the table. Jack reviewed April's file, filled with statements from her friends and family about the unsettling changes in her behavior. "We need to meet her first," he said, looking at Mia and Greg. "Only then can we determine what we're dealing with." As night fell, they made their way to April's apartment, nestled in a building that had long seen better days. The air was thick with tension. When they knocked, the door creaked open. April stood there, her face pale and eyes glistening with fear. She invited them in, but as soon as they stepped into the dimly lit room, a chill ran down their spines. April sat on the couch, her hands trembling. "I don't know what's happening to me," she confessed, her voice shaky. "Sometimes, I feel like I'm losing control. I hear voices, and I see things. Dark things." Mia nodded, sensing April's fear. "We believe you, April. We're here to help." Jack pulled out his recorder and began asking questions. "Can you tell us when this started?" April hesitated, but then spoke about an old mirror she had found at a garage sale just before the disturbances began. She felt drawn to it, but after bringing it home, everything changed. Greg glanced at the mirror, covered in dust, sitting in the corner of the room. "There's something about that mirror," he said. "It could be the source of whatever is haunting you." As they gathered their equipment to investigate, the atmosphere grew colder. Suddenly, the lights flickered and a low growl filled the room. April gasped, clutching her hands together. The team exchanged worried glances. They had dealt with spirits before, but this felt different, this felt darker. They set up their cameras around the room, positioning them to capture any signs of the paranormal. "I'll check the mirror," Greg said, moving cautiously toward it. As he approached, a gust of wind blew through the apartment, rattling the windows. The air thickened, and a dark shadow flashed across the mirror's surface. "Get away from it," Jack shouted, rushing to pull Greg back. "We need to perform the exorcism now." Mia grabbed a salt circle and began to lay it around April, muttering prayers for protection. Jack clenched his fists, focusing his energy as he called upon his experience to confront whatever dark spirit lingered in the room. "That mirror is holding something inside it," Greg said, fear lacing his voice. "We have to break it." Jack agreed but cautioned, "We need to draw the demon out first." "April, can you summon it?" Taking a deep breath, April nodded. She closed her eyes and focused. The temperature dropped further, and the lights dimmed to near darkness. The shadows grew twisted, forming a face that leered out from the mirror. April screamed as the entity spoke, its voice a terrible echo. "You cannot cast me out." But Jack and Mia held their ground. "Your hold on her ends tonight," Jack shouted, channeling all his strength into the exorcism chant. The room shook as the demon laughed, its voice deep and menacing. Suddenly, April's voice emerged from the chaos, filled with the ferocity of someone battling their own inner demons. "I am stronger than you," she declared, and as she said it, the air filled with bright light, pushing back the darkness. Mia continued to chant, the salt circle glowing around April. The demon wailed and clawed at the energy surrounding her, but it was losing ground. In one final act of desperation, It lunged at April, but with an enormous surge of power, she let out a scream that shattered the air and the mirror simultaneously. A blinding light enveloped the room, and when it faded, the mirror lay in shards. The shadows dissolved, and a peaceful calm settled over the area. April collapsed onto the floor, gasping but free from the darkness that had tormented her. "We did it," Jack said, breathing heavily as he helped her up. "We need to cleanse this place," Mia said, looking at the remnants of the mirror. Greg nodded in agreement, relieved but still shaken. As they left the apartment, April smiled for the first time in weeks. She was free, and the ghost finders had saved her from the darkness. For Jack, Mia, and Greg, it was just another day of facing the unknown. But for April, it was the beginning of a new life, free from fear and despair.